Ting ting ting, we are live and hello everyone. This is
Hello,
Anup here
everyone.
from,
Hello, hello.
Hi.
and we are here on the Neelam Saxena page on behalf of the Literary Warriors group, and we are here with another session of Tell Me a Tale. And today with us we have some quite experienced writers, people, all of us have been writing for quite some time, although maybe not stories always, but poems and other things we have all been writing. And let me start off. You know me, of course. And then right here next to me is Purna Parikh from Mumbai. And then we have got here Juhi Gupte is from Pune, and Dr. Maitreyee Joshi, she is also from Pune. Then we have got Dr. Anshu Sharma, who is actually
Hello.
from Delhi. Right
Yeah.
now, I think she is traveling somewhere, so she's not in Delhi right now, but from Delhi, so we take that. And finally, we have got Professor Rachana Chakraborty, who is also from Mumbai, if I'm right. Yes, Rachana ji? Yes, she is also from Mumbai. So we have got what? One, two, three. Three Mumbaites, two Puneites, and one roaming Delhiite. Six of us. Six of us here to start off with the stories, and we'll bring in with start the session today with Purna. Purna here is welcome to the stage. Purna, how do I get you onto the stage? I have to bring this here. And where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Yay, we got her on stage.
Thank you so much. This name of my story is a fairy tale of my own. It is a twist on the famous story of Rapunzel. I'll begin my story, a fairy tale of my own. Rapunzel and I were sisters. We looked as different as night and day. She had magical long blonde hair, while I had black. Mother Gothel told us that we were adopted. Locked up in a castle tower, the only way to go up and come down was through Rapunzel's long ladder like hair. Mostly, when mom came to visit us, Rapunzel would put her hair down and mom climbed the tower to come back upstairs. She would go out many times and get food and supplies for the house. One day, we heard mom's voice to bring her upstairs. Rapunzel let down her hair for mom to come upstairs, but to our surprise, it was a small rat. I screamed out at once and picked up the dirty creature and threw it on the grass below. Rapunzel hugged me tight, just as terrified. When mother came back in the evening, she carried some cake with her for Rapunzel and I to eat. Rapunzel fell in love with the divine cake. She asked mother if she purchased it. Mother said that she found a cake beneath the castle and it looked like someone had forgotten it. Rapunzel loved cakes, and mother and I baking. We spent days baking cakes, but Rapunzel never really found that divine taste in our hands. She seemed upset. Nothing would cheer her up. One stormy evening, Rapunzel heard mother call her to let down her hair from downstairs. But to our shock, it was the same slimy rat. I picked it up to throw it once more, and surprisingly, the rat began to talk. He begged not to be thrown. He wanted shelter, and he promised he will leave by morning. Later that night, Rapunzel actually let down her hair for mother, and I hid the rat in the vase away from mother. That night, Rapunzel and I slept restlessly in our rooms, knowing fully well that there was a rat outside. In the morning, when we stepped in the kitchen, we could smell the delicious scent of baking. We were shocked to see the rat icing a cake and smiling at us. This is the least I could do to repay you for the shelter, he said. Mom saw this and was furious, but the fragrance of the cake melted her heart. Rapunzel immediately recognized that the cake mother got for us was made by the rat too. Though Rapunzel was skeptical, she tapped the rat on the head and said thank you. The rat vanished, and in his place stood a handsome prince. The prince exclaimed, I was cursed into a rat by an evil witch because I wasn't grateful to the food that I was given. The only thing that could break the spell was the touch of a real princess, he said. Rapunzel told the prince that there was a mistake. Both of us were ordinary girls adopted by mother. None of us were real princesses. Mother Gothel confessed. The prince is right. Rapunzel, you belong to the king and the queen of Germany. I stole you from the crib when you were a child and locked you in a tower. Your sister was found abandoned on the road. I raised both of you as my own daughters. But Rapunzel, you are a princess by birth. That explained why the rat didn't turn into a prince with my touch, but only Rapunzel's. My sister belonged in a fairy tale. Rapunzel was upset at mother, but since she had fallen in love at first sight with the handsome prince, she decided to forgive mother for separating her from her birth parents. She and the prince lived happily ever after. And viewers, guess what? My love story began at her wedding. I fell in love with the prince's brother and eventually became a princess. I guess I had a fairy tale of my own. Thank you.
Thank you, Purna. That was really a fairy tale. That was really a fairy tale. Good,
Thank
good,
you.
Nice,
good,
nice.
good,
Very nice.
good.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, friends, how do you enjoy it?
Yes,
We
quite
got
a lot.
Definitely,
Ruchita, we have got
definitely.
Rashmi,
Yes.
we have got
Very
I
novel
think
concept.
it was a novel concept. Absolutely, absolutely. Very
Only
different.
if we could get the cake also.
Oh, yeah. The cake made by the prince.
Yes.
now,
We are
now
moving
you
back in
know
time.
Maitreyee is going to be picking up any rat she finds and then ask him, bake me a cake, bake
Make
me
me
a
a
cake.
cake. Yeah.
So, friends, after that delicious piece of cake from Purna, what we
Hmm.
have now here is Professor Rachana Chakraborty. Rachana ji, आइए, you are most welcome to take the stage and present your story.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was so lovely, Purna, to listen to your lovely fairy tale. That, yes, I believe that fairy tales and stories always remind us of our childhood days.
So
Cartoons
true.
have always been an important part of my lifestyle, you can say, during my childhood, and always getting connected with them. So when I thought I'll pen down a story from my own favorite character, so the story goes, the title of my story is Snow White and Me. The beautiful Snow White. We all have heard about Snow White and the famous dialogue of her mother, Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is more beautiful? So that is where it always gives it me a strike that always why it should be that we should ask if we are beautiful, we are beautiful. What is there to ask? So this I always, I always had a feeling that I will be meeting Snow White one day. So suddenly, what happened is that in a usual walk, so my story starts like this. One day, as usual, I and my daughter, went out for a regular forest walk. And while walking, my daughter and I started telling stories written by her But suddenly there was a darkness around, and this darkness filled us with little tension. Together with the darkness, my daughter squeezed my arm, and I squeezed hers. So we both had a feeling that we had lost the way. We entered deep into the jungle, the forest. So we decided that we will keep walking without looking here and there. We just turned 90-degree and we started walking back. But still, we felt that we had lost our track. And far away at a distance, we saw a hut which was completely ordained, decorated, and glowing. So I and my daughter decided we'll take some help. So, with that intention, we went towards the hut running and panting. And lo, what did we see? I met my favorite character there, Snow White, who was so beautiful. Never in my life I had imagined to meet such a beautiful little teenage girl. To see her, there is no question of asking anyone who is beautiful. The answer was there, obviously she. So we couldn't understand whether it was Snow White until and unless she told us that please come and have a glass of water. We entered, and my daughter told, Mummy, see this miniatures. All the full house was filled with seven miniature beds, seven miniature, you can say the tables, which we always played with the Barbie things. I felt that it was like Barbie toy house, and the kitchen, everything was so small, and the beds, especially the bed, but the room comfortably was heighted because Snow White was there. And we entered and we saw the seven beds. I touched one by one and I asked, finally, I had to ask because I couldn't understand where exactly I was. So then I understood that it was inside Snow White's house. Snow White told, I'm Snow White. And so politely, so delicately, that we never heard such a thing as the version which she was speaking with. It was so enlightenment, but we were very frightened because we knew the story prior. So we were frightened that once the dwarfs came in, we will be in trouble. Now Snow White was alone. So we just asked Snow White because I wanted to tell the story because that excitement to tell her that don't take the combs from your mother, don't take the apple from your mother, don't drink anything which comes from outsiders so that she's saved. But I couldn't say because we were frightened that the dwarfs will come. So we just requested, can you please guide us? How did we enter? We lost our track. Then Snow White again, very politely, she just murmured and said, don't worry, ma'am. I will help you because we know an edge of the forest where the darkness starts, from where the light starts, and I am not allowed to go to the other side. So don't worry, I will help you. But as we went out, the seven dwarfs were standing on a road with their arms and ammunition. But the arms and ammunition was so small, so tiny, that I felt funny, very funny, instead of feeling frightened. I wanted to have one for myself so that I can bring it back home to my place. So I told my daughter, just making an indication with my eyes, and my daughter on the other end, Mama, no, you can't do that. You cannot take anything from the story. You have to leave it as it is. We need to return back. So I understood all with her eyes, which she was telling me. And finally, I thought, okay, let it be. Whatever is small glass, small little plates, small food, real food in the plates, which I used to see in the tele movies, and the reels, the miniature cooking, the stick, and the gas which was there. So I was very excited, but I thought I should control I need to move out. That is very important. It was morning and suddenly it became dark, and this dwarfs was not allowing us out. We squeezed the hand of Snow White, I from one side and my daughter from the other. Snow White looked at me and my daughter and gave a smile. She was looking more beautiful. And I, on my mind, kept on thinking, who the hell can think that? Why do we need to ask mirror that who is more beautiful? Obviously, it is Snow White. Undoubtedly, the glow which came out. She requested the dwarfs that don't worry, she is a friend of mine. Let me escort her to the end. The dwarf said, no, 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 Snow White. You cannot go out of the house. It is we will take both of them. So I just squeezed my daughter, and the dwarfs told, come on, follow us to the foot of the mountain. So we were just following the seven little dwarfs right in front. Luckily, I'm not that heighted. So the dwarfs were a little bit in my height. So if I would be more heighted, like my daughter, she really felt they were dwarfs. But I felt I was one of them because my height is also not that much. So I started walking without getting frightened. And there, when we reached at the tip of the mountain, I, on the other end, was frightened of the dwarfs will shoot us with their bow and arrow, but they did nothing. They were very calm, quiet, and they told that you have to give a step to the other side. We will not be going to the other side. We are advised by our fairy forest godmother not to go to the other side. So we will not be going. It is you who have to go to the other side. So we were little frightened at the beginning, but still we made it. I and my daughter said that no, we have to take a leap if we need to come to the present. So we finally took a jump and went to the other side of the tree and found ourselves again in the walk in a regular walking arena. And my daughter looked at me, I looked at her as if we told the whole story to both of us. It was Snow White whom we met, but we have no evidence to show to our friends that we really went to Snow White and we met Snow White. What did you bring? My daughter, on the other hand, told, Mama, I know that you love to keep some samples, some proof to show in your social media. So, see what I bought back for you. I brought a small bed of one of the dwarfs. It's in my pocket. And she showed me the bed of the dwarf. So I said, oh my God. So this is what I can keep it for myself throughout my lifetime. So that's how we came back from the world of fantasy to the real world once again. Thank you so much.
Very nice. Very
But
nice.
Rachana ji, one thing is missing in this. Where is the bed now? You haven't shown it to us. Not fair, not fair. You have to show us the bed.
It
Lovely
is a
story.
fairy tale.
And,
So that bed is for me, only for me. One of the seven dwarfs will be hunting for me every day because one bed is missing.
One bed.
but really
They
enjoyed
may
the
they may
way
come
you.
to your house hunting. They may come to your house once upon a time hunting for the bed.
Maybe once again I'll meet the seven dwarfs.
Hmm. So,
Yeah.
what a lovely way to say a story. I think we should. There's something to learn from Professor Rachana here. The way she was reciting it, it was as if she's actually there and speaking it out. Lovely story, Rachana ji. And now let's move on to the next person, next author on our list. What we have now is Dr. Maitreyee Joshi. Maitreyee ji, kidhar ho aap? Here you are. You are on the
Yes, I'm
stage,
here.
Pune,
Yes.
and what's your story today?
So, hello everyone, and this is a very amazing kind of a prompt, and I totally enjoyed writing this story. It is about the cartoon character Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh is kind of a little bit on the philosophical side, but it always gives a good message. These are soft toys in a certain boy, like in the playroom of a certain boy, whose name is Christopher Robin. And then the Christopher Robin is a boy who creates this make-believe world of Winnie the Pooh. So now here the as always, like I enter the character, like enter the world, that make-believe world of Winnie the Pooh, and here the story goes. So it was, the name of the story is Friends. It was the first morning after my retirement. Going from being the head of R&D at a top pharmaceutical company to being a nobody overnight was too much to handle. That day, I had nowhere to go, nothing in particular to do. I hadn't planned my retirement. I asked myself if I had ever planned anything in my life, and the answer was a clear no. I had once heard someone say, "Get up, dress up, and show up." The phrase had stuck with me, and through all the ups and downs of life, I had lived by the magazine. It had always helped me. The rest of the time, I had been so absorbed in cancer drug research that I never stopped to think about much else. After my morning routine, I sat at the breakfast table. My housekeeper, Mrs. Parker, had laid out scrambled eggs, buttered garlic bread, and coffee. But hunger is one faculty deeply affected by emotions. I rose from the chair, leaving the breakfast untouched. "Please clear the breakfast table, Mrs. Parker. I am going back to sleep," I said. She looked surprised, but the plenty of chores awaiting her, she dutifully got on with them. I walked into the living room. It featured a plush light brown sofa with my favorite soft comforter. The big screen TV stared blankly at my face, as if it had given up on me. Since I never put it on, I was always working. The gifts from my colleagues given to me at the retirement party lay in a heap beside the sofa. I sat down, thinking about what lay ahead, especially my trip to India 15 days later. The thought made me uneasy. So I switched on the TV. A random news channel played. I began flipping through channels. Eventually, a cartoon popped up. Frustrated, I flung the remote aside, picked up one of the gifts, and unwrapped it. It read Google Lens for an out of this world virtual reality experience. I put on the Google glasses. Within seconds, I found myself in front of a jungle filled with English oaks, birches, and a different kind of vines and creepers. A signboard read 100-acre woods. For some strange reason, I kept walking. At the base of a tree trunk, I noticed a house with a door. As I approached, the door opened and a yellowish brown bear stepped out. And uncanny as it was, the bear wore a red sleeveless t shirt. A long lost memory stirred in my mind. This bear was from books I used to read to my son when he was 5, but I couldn't recall the bear's name. As I came closer, I saw the bear appeared pensive. He leaned back against the tree trunk beside the house and sighed. I approached, sensing no danger, only warmth. When I was within talking distance, the bear looked up, surprised. "Oh, bother! You are a human, just like Christopher Robin," he exclaimed. Before I could respond, he continued, "Why are you here? Did Christopher Robin send you? Did he give you a letter for me? Is he coming back?" I was nonplussed. I thought, "You are a bear, you wear clothes, you can talk. I don't even know where I am." The bear replied, "So Christopher Robin hasn't sent you? My name is Winnie the Pooh. I live here in the 100-acre woods. Christopher Robin is my friend." "Aha, now I remember," I said, surprised. "The boy Christopher Robin. I never thought the books I read to my son long ago actually existed." Winnie the Pooh said indignantly. "They exist for me, for Piglet, for Tigger, for Owl, Rabbit, Kanga, and Roo, and once upon a time for Christopher Robin, my bestest friend." He sighed again. I decided to play along. I sat beside Winnie and asked, "Where is Christopher Robin now?" "He went away to the big city for higher studies," Winnie answered with a sigh. "That's important too, Winnie. You can't blame him," I remarked. I'm not blaming him, but I miss him and I'm cross with him, he retorted. My son Rahul might also be angry with me, I said thoughtfully. I left for London, leaving him and his mother in India. Why on earth would you do that? Abandon your only son and your wife and come to London? He asked wide eyed. I was deep into cancer drug research. Nina, my wife, didn't want to quit her job. We fought bitterly. I left. I replied, despair starting to creep into my voice. Oh wow! And you just left without a single thought for Rahul? He asked, genuinely bemused. It was a mistake, but my leaving felt important. The cancer drug could save lives. Nina, I thought, had grown selfish. Pooh's face softened with compassion. Something lit up in his mind like a bulb. In a tearful voice, he said, my friend Christopher Robin is just like you, Mr. What is your name? Rajan, I said. What was I saying? Yes, Christopher Robin's going was important, but he could have written at least one letter to us. Looking at Vinny, I said gently, people don't always realize what they are doing in the moment. I've been there. We sat in silence, processing the new understanding. Then I asked, if Christopher Robin comes back, will you forgive him? Will you be his friend again? Vinny thought for a moment and then giggled softly. I'll get angry. I'll tell him how I felt. I'll stay cross for a while, but then I'll forgive him. Why will you forgive him, Vinny? I asked, urgency in my voice. He became thoughtful again. Then he said, for the old time's sake, the good times we had when he was here deserve that we stay friends whenever he comes. So Rahul will also forgive me, I asked. While I was there, I was his best buddy. We read books, played football, and spent holidays together. Until Rahul until Rahul turned 8, that's when I left. I added quietly. Vinny said, yes, Mr. Rajan, he will forgive you for the good time's sake. Suddenly, everything went dark, and I struggled to remove the Google virtual reality glasses. Later that day, I made a decision. I would go to India. I would meet Nina, Rahul, and Rahul's children. Now, I had new best friends to make. Finally, I had a plan. So, that is the story about my meeting with Winnie the Pooh. Thank you.
Great, Maitreyee, great.
Loved it.
That's
Loved
a
it.
Thank you. Thank
lovely
you.
story.
Really
Lovely,
great,
lovely
really
Thank,
great.
story.
thank you
Friends,
so
we are
much.
And with a message also.
with a
Yeah,
message
Yes,
Yeah.
also.
a lovely message, lovely message.
lovely message.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you.
so, friends, we are at somewhere around halfway through the program, and it is time for a commercial break. Ting tong. Remember, October first week, we are starting with our literary festival 3.0 Bhasha and Beyond in Pune. So, come over and meet all of us there. Remember, October first week, Pune for Literary Warrior Groups Literary Festival 3.0. Ting ting. We are back online after that short break. And next, we have with us Dr. Anshu Sharma, who's going to be reciting her story for us. But before that, let me just acknowledge some of the messages which we have been receiving. We have been receiving a number of good messages. We have got here Surekha Sahuji, we have got Aparna Pradhan, Dr. Aparna Pradhan, Hema Raviji, Anjali Bajpayee ji, and Hema Ravi ji has been very actively supporting and giving us a lot of encouragement. Thank you, Hema ji. Thank all of you. Thank you all for supporting us, for being here with us today. And we continue our program with Dr. Anshu Sharma. Anshu ji, over to you.
Thank you, Anup ji. And as I said before, also, this is such a novel concept. I just didn't want to miss it. Although I was traveling and I was occupied with so many other things, meeting grandkids and everything. And yet I'm here. So you can see, you can definitely acknowledge my enthusiasm. But yeah, So the story that I'm going to recite today is also from my times when we had these cartoon characters, and my story is about Spider-Man, who really motivated me. He always was there, and he was for all us kids, he was a an icon of bravery and always trying to do things that we always would want to do somehow. So my story is called My Tryst with Spider-Man. My Tryst with Spider-Man. Okay. So
Awesome.
I'll start it now. Yeah. And so it goes like this. I was in the middle school then and was obsessed with reading comics. My favorite comic character was Spider-Man. He was my superhero, and I was in love with his antics, his capabilities, and his magical powers. I idolized him and gradually started thinking of him as my best friend. I would think of him in my difficult times and ask his help for solving many of my issues, even talk to him about some of my innermost fears. Surprisingly, he was always around to offer advice and out of the box solutions, and sometimes he even went to great lengths to finding appropriate answers and solutions for my issues. I know it sounds very unrealistic now, but actually, Spider Man helped me with my daily errands and some of my other important stuff during those formative years of my life. Sometimes he would help me complete a lengthy and tough project before a deadline. At other times, he was swinging me to school when I had missed my school bus. Once he got a sandwich for me to have at lunch when some naughty classmates of mine had eaten away my lunchbox. So I was always overwhelmed with his attention and would have continued to revel in my reverie had it not been for the suspicious and questioning eyes of my classmates then. My friends were now jealous of my continuous achievements and my accolades in school. And some of my neighbors were also there. They were passing very judgmental comments about my overperformance and excellence in school. So, as Spider Man's presence in my life started to affect reality in very, very strange ways, I realized that I had gradually got over most of my fears because of him and won over most of the class bullies too his, with the help of his friendship. I actually didn't need his constant help in my life anymore. So ultimately, I had to make my choice. I had to make my choice. I had to bid goodbye to this wonderful friend, Spider Man, then. And yet, I think of him now with fondness and affection. He was indeed my true friend in those tough years of my life. So that was my tryst with Spider Man. I hope you all like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Anshuji. Thank you. That was lovely. And I, even after hearing this, I'm not sure how much of that was fiction and how much of that was actually a life story. But lovely, lovely. And we got Hemaji's here saying, "What a twist." Anshuji, that's right. It was a lovely twist in the story. And now, whom do we have here? Juhi, 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 where are you? I can't see you. There you
I'm
are.
here.
There. Here we have Juhi from Pune. And what story are you going to be reciting for us today?
So I've always been moved by Lewis Carroll, so I'll be picking up Alice in Wonderland and the bass line. And my story's name is Alice in Techtopia.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
because I come from tech, so this is what I can bring to you all. Alice and I met in Bangalore. She was a multi-talented girl. After accepting her campus placement offer, Alice found herself tumbling down the rabbit hole of corporate life. The city had mirrors, upside down. The city had mirrors upside down, showing us life away from home. We, now the roommates, we, now the roomies, strolled around the streets of Bangalore, watched the sun downing at Nandi Hills. Life was tough road, and so were we, the insipid wallflowers. Navigating the office maze, Alice tried her best to please Miss Red Queen, the demanding boss whose expectations were unreal. Queen of Hearts liked chaos. Alice was organized, planned, and she planned her day effectively. She reached on time, didn't drink, never smoked, a choice that makes her the subject of whispers. From the office, speaking flowers, a clique of colleagues who mock her modest dressing and her refusal to stretch beyond work hours. She's so old fashioned, snickers the violet. Not cool at all, adds the lily, echoing a stereotype that still lingers in corporate India. Then came the annual office party. The Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter, the eccentric pre sales guy, led the festivities with wild stories and loud laughter. In the corner, I nudged her. I nudged Alice and we went for some fresh air. When Alice, usually reserved, finally joined the dance floor, her peers, the Tweedledee and Tweedledum, watched in awe. For a moment, the stereotype shattered. Alice's authenticity and joy made her the star of the evening, proving one don't need to drink or smoke to belong or have fun. Still, the judgment didn't disappear. Some days, Alice felt herself shrinking under the weight of bias and exclusion. She grew, and the other days, she grew, finding confidence in her work. We drank coffee through the half teacups. Together, we dreamt of a place free from bias. And here goes the twist. One day, we followed the invisible cat and found the door for the little golden key. Reaching back home, Alice and I decided to do a startup where everyone, where everyone, regardless of background or choices, can belong and thrive. In our workplace, we would break free from the old rules and redefining what it means to succeed. And then we slept. That's it.
Oh,
Lovely,
that was good.
lovely.
That was good. That was really different.
That was
And,
really cool. Very
Yes,
cool.
yeah,
this
and she
can be
brought in.
expanded. Juhi,
This
this
can
can be
really be.
expanded.
This can be really be expanded, and she brought in all the characters there. You got the Cheshire Cat, you got the Bad Hatter, you got the Tweedly Tweedle Dumb, and everything which was there, she brought it into the corporate life. Well done, Juhi. Great, great,
Thank you,
absolutely.
thank you. This was my
Excellent.
very first
So,
attempt, though. I was so nervous, actually.
it's a lovely, lovely
You've done
attempt.
a wonderful
Absolutely
job.
done.
Now I'm waiting for a full-fledged novel from you. This
Yeah,
entire
Thanks, Purna, for
I
all the
can keep
support you
moving
had
away
done.
from Juhi.
you're
Yeah.
welcome.
So I think we have gone through all our guests today except for me, and I'm not going to allow you to go away without giving you a piece of my story.
Yeah,
Can't
So
Anupji, I'm
wait.
waiting
Sure,
here
I've been
sure,
goes.
waiting,
sure.
for
actually.
your favorite character.
Yes.
Wait for yours.
Who is your favorite character, Anupji? Just waiting to listen from
I'm
you.
myself a character. I'm myself a character. And if you ask my sons, I am also a cartoon. I am also a cartoon, according to my sons.
That is why I am more excited to listen. Who is your character now? Because you yourself is a character. So I'm waiting.
No, if I was really to think of something, I would probably go with Calvin. Calvin and Hobbes cartoons.
Hmm.
I would probably go with Calvin. But this is not the time for Calvin. This is the time for a new story. This
Yay.
is based on a fairy tale once again. And here goes. Many years ago, I was in Germany looking to get insights into German folklore for a book I was planning to write. I was staying in a small inn near Freiburg, a town near the Black Forest. The innkeeper's grandpa, an old man well into his 90s, sat just outside the inn. enjoying the sunlight. I started chatting with him. You have heard about Rosamond, the sleeping beauty? He asked. Yes, I have. A witch cursed her to die, but another witch said she wouldn't die, just sleep for hundreds of years until someone kissed her and woke her up. You know that? He asked. Yes, that is a very well known fairy tale, I replied. Well, her castle is supposed to be nearby, somewhere deep inside the forest. In my younger days, they used to say that the brothers Grimm made up the part about Prince Charming, and that actually she is still asleep inside, waiting to be woken up. Most folks nowadays are not interested in such tales. But since you are searching for stories, that might be worth exploring. I was excited. I thanked him and asked him how I could reach the castle. No one knows where it is. The Grimms wrote about her 200 years ago, and already it was an old tale. There used to be a cobbled path, but that's all gone by now. No one's ever gone searching for the castle. There's an old sign near the edge of the forest. You might try that, but be careful. You can easily get lost. The very next morning, I set about trying to find the sign and then the path. I could see a few cobblestones nearby and decided to explore further. Before I knew it, I was deep inside the forest, following a cobblestone here, a cobblestone there, and then suddenly I came upon a dilapidated old building. It was not really a castle, but I could sense that at its peak it would have been grand. I went inside. There was what looked like a large hall, and at one end of it, I could see an entrance to a room. Everything else lay in ruins. I went into the room, and there, in the center of the room, on a sturdy bed with lace curtains all around, lay a woman. I could hear the soft sound of her breathing. This must be an elaborate hoax, I thought. How can a fairy tale be true? But in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's see this through. So I went closer to the bed. I drew aside the curtains and immediately recoiled back in surprise and horror. Why have you stopped? Go ahead, kiss her, awaken her, said a voice behind me. Who are you? I asked, turning. I am the fairy who altered the curse, came the reply. And who is she? Who else? She is Rosamond, the sleeping beauty. But, but, but how can that be? That woman is looking so old and aged and wrinkled. She must be at least 100 years old. Rosamond was only 16 years old. You, you are a fool. She was 16 when she fell asleep. I said she wouldn't die. I didn't say she wouldn't age, did I? You think just because she was sleeping, she wouldn't age? And suddenly, I understood why people had stopped searching for the castle. That's it. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Fascinating, wonderful. You
Totally
found
lovely.
the hole.
Very
Yeah,
different, very
wonderful,
different.
wonderful.
What a twist in the story.
So,
Very nice. Lovely.
thank
Lovely.
Totally enjoyed.
you, thank you very much. And we are now at the end of our program, and before we close, once again, a gentle reminder. October, we have got our literary festival, LitFest 3.0 in Pune, October 1st week, 4th and 5th. So please do come there, and please visit our website or our Facebook or accounts or ask on any of the admins. You got three of them, four of them here, today, five of them, in fact. Five of us are here right now. You can ask any of us to help you around the details, and hope to see you all soon. And thank you once again to all our listeners, all the people who have been here, who have come here, attended this program. Thank you to Neelam. Thank you to the Literary Warriors group. And thank you to all my guests today who have presented such lovely stories. Thank you. Good night.
Have
Thank
Thank
you
a
very
you.
much.
wonderful time.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Anup, for
Good
Bye.
this
night.
Thank you
Bye.
both.
wonderful
Thank you so much.
opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.